What is going on, guys? Welcome back into the F1 Fantasy Cockpit. It is late. FP3 has just finished. This is your captain speaking. We're going to be quickly working our way through how we want our teams to look so you guys can watch and get everything in before we start quali. So we are going to get right into it here. Let me see. So I'm just going to pull up. So this is on the left here, my team that is my go-to team. Looking at my other teams on the right and left, let's see. I know I had an idea for this third team. I believe it was to. I'm actually probably going to run this out for another week with this one. Let me just see what changes, if any, I can make. Can I move the Kicksauber? I cannot. No, I'm kind of stuck with them. But that is fine. This was kind of to be expected here. Um, Even if I move Norris out and take Piastri even, my fear for Piastri this week is I do think he is a more aggressive driver than Lando Norris is, though I do think maybe because Japan's such a technical track, I kind of want to lean towards Lando this week, but Lando's obviously not perfect himself. He's prone to mistakes, so I think it's kind of a wash between Oscar and Lando. So if I switch out Lando, that should get me quite a bit of budget now to be able to get away from the Kicksaubers. And you know what? Maybe instead of the Kicksauber, we go Racing Bulls. Hoping for them to do better. I'm a little worried about Liam Lawson. He has been a little bit slower than Hadjar, although I do expect them to be somewhat in the middle of the field, and as long as they don't mess up, I think they'll be okay. The Kicksauber also having a rookie on their squad. Hulkenberg's pretty reliable. There's a part of me I just think for the few extra points, maybe I can get the Racing Bulls. Seems to be worth it. Goodness me, I really can't afford much more. I'm just that close to Williams. So a lot of people are going to be in a similar boat to me here. I only have two transfers for this team this week. Um, really does feel dirty having to do it that way. I might have to leave it with Lando. I just don't like leaving that much money on the table for the small difference in points this is. I was thinking that could get me up to a Williams. Don't really want to take a minus 10 yet this week. The team is pretty fine. I think I'd rather just keep a small amount of points. Because to be honest, I don't know who else I'd want to really switch out. Like Antonelli is a good value here. George Russell's really one of the other cheaper drivers, really. As comparison, these two are the cheaper of the A tiers, so can't really go wrong with that. Yuki's really tempting to add to a lot of my teams, mainly because he has looked somewhat competitive in that car. They've said they're going to set it up to be a little safer for him and maybe not the speed. But I don't know if they've made those changes yet. But in FP2 and 3, he's at different times found himself within a tenth of Max Verstappen in the car, who has a obviously should be a better handle on the car. Don't expect that to continue on to the race, but the fact that Yuki has been this close when Lawson had never been more than half a second close to Verstappen kind of speaks a lot. I really don't trust the F1 developers on how they're going to do the scoring for Yuki and Lawson though this week. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they kind of defer them as if they're brand new drivers. Like this is their week one, so the score will go 0-0 and whatever they have this week to be average for 3 races. Just because their points per minute is going to be so skewed from how they performed in the value of their previous machinery. So I think they almost have to start anew. We haven't really had a driver swap. It's always been a new driver. So the algorithm kind of starts anew. I kind of expect that to happen since they did this, which makes it harder for Yuki to go up in value at this rate, knowing he has 2 zeros with him right now. Whereas Lawson, it might be a little bit easier to do. I honestly, I think I'm just staying away from both drivers this week. So all in all, really don't think I can change much on this team. Um, what did it do last week? It did fine last week. I think this middle one is one that I kind of have to focus on a bit because I definitely have to switch the Ferrari out. So a lot of people probably have a team similar to this. You have a couple of the Haas drivers, maybe the Mercedes Ferrari stack. So Ferrari definitely has the leave. Um, I think for a lot of people with the constructors, Mercedes, based on value, again, the lower of the upper tiers. So we're looking to grab either the Haas or the Williams. A good part of me believes Williams will have a good race. Albon's bound to finish one of these. They are a better drive than Haas, as much as Haas has been getting it done. Um, let's try Haas and see what else I can get in on this team. And if I rip out Bortoleto, I have 24.5 million. What kind of driver does that get me? So just by switching out these two, I can have Haas and I can have Lewis Hamilton. I can have George Russell. I can have Kimi Antonelli. I think George has been a bit more consistent. I think Antonelli was a little bit lucky. As much as he's close in points here, he was pretty close. He got a lot of points for starting near the back in his first race, which I don't expect to happen here again. Um, so this might be a little bit skewed because of that. So maybe I go a George here. Still have 3 million to spend. Um, I do have 3 free transfers, so hypothetically, to move Hulk out gives me 10, and I can still fit in Pierre Gasly. No, instead of a Hulk, take a Lance Stroll. Kind of similar. Being a more technical track, Stroll does scare me to finally screw up this week. Not to say he will, but could happen. Um, Maybe I threw a Liam Lawson in there, but no, 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 no. Hmm. Can I afford McLaren? Doubt it. Yeah, no. Too far away. Too far away. That's fine. Um, to eat 3 million here. Ba, 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 ba. Hmm. I mean, Stroll's been driving pretty well. Maybe he's flipped the script here. 3 free transfers, or I can carry one to next week. I might like being able to carry one to next week. I just don't like leaving all that budget on the table. I think this might be the race we roll with. If I don't do that, Verstappen's still out of reach. Okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of made up my mind for me. I think Sauber's, yeah, we'll try Lance Stroll. We're going to run with this. I don't think it's too much. I think it's more just minimum amount of points to use budget that I have. Who knows? 10 points could be all the difference makers at the end of the year. I think this is how a lot of people should run this. I'm just going to switch these around just because that's going to bug me. I like having my expensive team on the other side. There we are. I think we're running with this. So this is going to have, so I am using 3 transfers here. Yes, cool. To be expected. Cool. Um, I don't feel too bad about this switch. It might bite me if I want to add Ferrari, but I'm not adding Ferrari for a few weeks. So I'm not too worried about needing an extra change to get out of this. I do eventually want to move back to Ferrari to stop building budget and start getting into some points. But for now, I think getting rid of Ferrari is something that a lot of teams have to do. So we're going to go ahead and confirm that one there. As you can see, we got the countdown clock. I'm working as fast as I can for my team. So I'm going to skip this team here for a second as that's my final team. I'm kind of brainstorming with you guys as I work through this. So I'm going to bring up the teams that I built for you guys right here. I believe you can see that now. Yeah. So over here on the constructor focused one, let's manage this team a bit. Let's see what we can do. So we have 3 to use for free transfers. I do trust the Williams to get this done. There really isn't too much I want to change. I think the only thing, yeah, I think the only thing I'd be looking to do if we are throwing a lot of Haas in here to teams, just because the value for points seems to be making sense right now. Like the Williams, it seems like even if they're scoring low amounts of points, they're just kind of holding position. They're not really gaining position like some of these Haas drivers are, which could benefit them quite a bit. Um, and yeah, going for 10 million. Yeah, I think we're adding like Esteban Ocon here and just eating 2.2 million. Teams all moving up. Kind of have the heavy hitter in Piastri here. We have the McLaren that we're leaning really into. We have just a nice kind of rainbow of drivers, which isn't always my favorite. I like to like lean on any one team, but knowing that we're kind of staying away from the low budget drivers as best we can, I think we're pretty happy with that. We're avoiding most of the rookies, and or we are avoiding all the rookies. Um, I think that's as much as we can do. Just having a quick look, hypothetically, if it's not Haas, is it anyone else? No, Haas is the only option here. So close to the Racing Bulls in value. We just have to go with what's working right now. I think that's all that can be said. Um, yeah, going back to here again. So we're just going to go ahead and I think lock this in as well. Yeah, we're going to lock this one in. Two changes. You can always make one more. Looking at the driver one, so this is one that is pretty fun for me. So having this is one I'm actually really thinking of punting down Norris to Piastri for anyone that stacked these guys here, and then dropping the Kicksauber, and then maybe this is one that I throw Williams in there. Um, Hopefully that these guys are scoring points, going up in value. There's a part of me that would kind of wants to take the Racing Bulls just because having scored similar points at less of a value, it's easier to continue getting that points per million upgrade. Um, yeah, I just want to trust the veterans on a technical track like Japan. Could bite me. I might only lose it on 0.3 million. Both might go up this week, so I think I can really tolerate that. And then I have three tier A drivers. I have budget constructors that are scoring a little bit of points, which isn't the worst, but we're kind of making it up with these two here. And I think that's all we want to be doing. Just out of curiosity, Hulkenberg to Ocon. How many transfers is that? That's probably three, right? Let's see here. That is four changes. Oh, including the DRS boost. So, is it worth dumping 10 points to go Ocon to Hulkenberg? That's as many points as they have in the season. I don't think it's worth doing. That's a change I can look to make maybe in the future. There we go. Only making two changes. I don't think this is a chip weekend. I think if people are nervous and want to use a no negative, I totally think that's something you can do. But I think we do have to be a little bit mindful that it's a long series and a lot of people have already burned through um, two, if not at least one chip, one of which is pretty heavy in their wild card chips. So looking back to this one here now, it's kind of similar to this makeup. The biggest change is we have to get Ferrari out of there. So we go to manage team here. I think we just have to flip the constructors out. I think this might be pretty similar to a team that we already have built by going Albon, Stroll. It's literally going to be the exact same as this team. So to avoid doing that, let's try something else here then. Ideally, this is, I think, what we want to be aiming for over here is getting the McLaren stack, the Haas stack. So managing this team, Just curious. Let's see what the budget for this team is at currently by knocking everyone off. Okay, we're at 102 million. So it's not the worst. I don't have to like beg for value this week. Although my constructors, I know Ferrari's going to go down um, zero point 0.3 again. It is only zero point 0.3 though. I might be able to survive the storm here with Ferrari. Just take my points. Because I mean, could just do something tidy. Just switch into a Mercedes, leave everything else here. Hmm 4 million to burn. And I only have one more transfer. Um, is there anyone? I already have Stroll. Yeah, I already have like all these drivers. The only way would be this could be a team that I get Sonoda in on if I'm eliminating an Albon at a Sonoda if I expect well, but I just think it's too early. I think Sonoda goes down even zero point 0.2 this week. Just go get him next week. Hmm Yeah, I just don't see a path for um, who we should be bringing into this spot as far as drivers that in that value are going to have an easier time going up in value. There really isn't anyone. Like Signs needs an incredible amount of points to even try to get up there. Pierre Gasly is going to be going down, so I think this is really. I don't like this number. 29 to 23. It's just too big of a jump. Can't even get to a Verstappen. I don't want to take any of the Ferrari drivers. Unfortunately, this is one we're just eating some budget on. Short of everyone's going to be going up in value. We're getting decent points. Short of moving Williams down for a Haas, it just is going to open up me even more value and to get me what? Like, hypothetically, let's do this. 9.7. So now I can put George Russell in there with Piastri. Is that pretty similar to a team I already have, though? I think. I feel like I already have a Russell, Piastri, Stroll, Ocon. We did that, but this is one that I'm doing for you guys. That's this one here, basically. Um, hmm. I mean, if Haas is going to score similar points, then I just need the points differential between the Mercedes drivers and Albon to cancel out the minus 10. This might be worth it. I think I already built this team for you guys on one of my for fun leagues, but I don't have it built in any of my leagues for you guys to be able to see. Um, so if we're doing this is my budget building one. It's supposed to be my budget focus. Hmm. Well, the point drop off for point 0.3, I'm going to see either in driver or in constructor. So as much as it makes sense maybe to go Williams and Haas here, I kind of don't want to. Because we kind of already have that going on over here. I do think we just need to keep this a little tidy. Just do something as simple as a Mercedes swap. And let's just try. We'll go Haas. And because they're guaranteed to go up in price. And then Albon only went up to 0.2, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. All right, let's see it. All right, George. Yeah, I think we're just going to run with that. I think that's what we're going to do. George has been pretty consistent so far this season. I think just as far as budget and balance of points. Um, yeah, I think that's what we're doing. So I am making an extra transfer here. I think it's worth it just to get away. Um, I'm losing a little bit of value on Ferrari, so I'm not making up too much points here. Should make up a little bit of points here, but that'll be where the difference between these two drivers should be more than 10 points. So I believe that should kind of cancel out and kind of maybe set me up for future success. Okay, so all different teams. This one's taking a -10 right off the hop, but I do expect these guys to be doing well. This really is kind of being a driver focused one. It's maybe kind of more budget focused, knowing that all these guys are trending, but really everyone's trying to build budget in different ways. So I think these are kind of a good combination of drivers. Like you can see, I have a lot of Piastri, I have a lot of Russell. Mainly the Piastri just gives me value to add to get away from the rookies, especially for this week, knowing it's going to be a technical race. I think that's kind of going to be important. I think these are the strategies that we really need to use. Feel free to, if you have a lot of these rookies, just the way your teams are built, you've already burned your wild card and you're going to be taking way too many points. Use a no negative if you have to this week, as they are calling for rain. Um, yeah, so finally, I guess now we're moving on to my important team, right? So this is the one that you guys see in all my leagues. Looking at this one, I don't think I'm making too many changes. I think I will just do something as simple as, I do have 3 free transfers though. Okay, so I throw Haas in there. I have 23 million still. Really? That's it? Is that really it? Well, that sucks. Thought I could have done more with that. Hmm. Can I really not build? Oh, we have to move Stroll down to an Ocon. That might be the difference rather than Bortoleto. So something with Bortoleto, depending if they're going to cap him at 4.5, he may not be eligible to go down 0.6 anymore. So I don't think he's going to be able to lose another 0.6. It might only be a 0.3. Um, I think I just kind of want to roll with this team again. Like we went up 2 million in value last week, scored a lot of points. I'm just very comfortable with this team. I'm confident. Like Albon hasn't finished here the last 3 years. I think I'm just very happy with this team in general. Who could I get instead? Hajar maybe is in the valley in here. Goodness me, pardon my horrible scrolling. I'm not touching doing with a 10-foot pole. Um, yeah, it's really just Hajar and looking at the budget builder guys. He needs a lot of points to go up in value. Similar amount, I guess, similar amount to Bortoleto. So I think Hajar can score more points than him. They're both likely to go down in value. Maybe that's the only change I make. Throw Isaac Hajar in there, and then yeah, because even still, if he can only go down 0.5, so maybe that's the difference if they do cap it at 0.5. So I think we're gonna run with this. The racing bulls have looked pretty good this week. Hajar in general has just been looking a little bit more um, racy than Bortoleto has. It's minimal points difference, so let's try it just to be a little different. Get away from both kick Sauber should anything happen. And I've used up every dollar of my value. I think this is what we're going to be running with, folks. And I already used my no negative chip in week 1, which is half the reason I've done as good as I have here. But I think that's as much as we can do. We're 30 minutes to the deadline time of recording. I'm going to get this posted in the next few minutes. Feel free to give a watch, guys. You can see there's definitely a crop of drivers that I'm holding on to. And a lot of it, again, at F1 Fantasy Tools, you can see the drivers that are best to avoid here, as well as the Ferraris. Verstappen, it's what a range that is. Goodness me. 19 to -7 is the range of possibilities for him before going up 0.1 or -0.1. But at that rate, 0.1 here or there is pretty minimal. You're likely going to see upticks with other drivers. Verstappen, for anyone that's humming and hawing 2-timesing him this week, he's won from pole the last 3 years in a row. So have confidence in them. There's definitely you should have at least, if you're not having one of the big three between even two, I don't know many people having Red Bull. I think it's just Mercedes and McLaren. You have to be having some of these, be a combination of these. Likely Haas has to be at least one if you're doubling up down here, and you should not own Aston Martin or Alpine at all. They just need way too many points to even try to go positive. Yeah, use the tools, guys. Trust your gut. Have fun. Um, Enjoy the races. We're going to get ready for quality. Yeah, hopefully your team survive. We'll talk to you after the race. See ya.